Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deeper than any submarine, into the crushing, lightless abyss of our planet's oceans. More than 80% of this underwater world remains unexplored, unmapped, and unseen by human eyes. It's a realm where pressure can crush steel, where sunlight has never reached, and where the line between myth and reality becomes blurred. Ancient maps were once filled with illustrations of terrifying sea serpents and colossal krakens, warnings of the monsters that lurked beyond the known world. We moderns often scoff at these tales, attributing them to the overactive imaginations of early sailors. But what if I told you that some of these legends have a basis in fact? And what if I told you that even today, with all our technology, the deep sea sends us signals and clues of giants that even our best scientists struggle to explain? We listen with our most sensitive instruments, and sometimes the abyss whispers back with something that sounds impossibly large. Join us as we count down 5 deep sea giants that push the boundaries of science and folklore. We'll examine ancient texts, analyze scientific data, and investigate modern sightings. Prepare to question what you think you know about the world beneath the waves. What do you think, myth or reality? Let's find out together. Number 5. The Luscar journey begins in the Caribbean, specifically in the mesmerizing and treacherous blue holes of the Bahamas. These are massive underwater caverns, portals to a submerged, ancient world. But according to local legend, they are also the lairs of a terrifying monster, the Lusca. Folklore describes a creature of nightmare, a hybrid horror said to be over 75 feet long. It supposedly possesses the tentacles of a giant octopus, but the sharp-toothed maw of a shark, a combination that allows it to drag unsuspecting swimmers and even entire boats down into the watery darkness of its cave. For centuries, these stories were dismissed as local superstitions, tales told to keep children away from the dangerous currents of the blue holes. But the consistency of the descriptions is unsettling. Eyewitnesses often report seeing enormous, shadowy tentacles emerging from the depths, far larger than any known octopus in the Atlantic. The legend gained some unexpected traction with the discovery of the St. Augustine monster in 1896. A massive, rubbery carcass washed ashore in Florida, and its initial examiner was convinced it was the remains of a colossal, unknown octopus. It seemed to give credence to the idea that giant cephalopods could be lurking off the coast. However, scientists have a few more plausible explanations. The St. Augustine carcass was later subjected to biochemical and histological analysis, which concluded it was nothing more than a large mass of collagenous tissue from a whale, essentially a huge piece of decaying blubber. Skeptics believe the Lusca legend is a composite myth. The Bahamas are home to large sharks and giant octopuses, though the giant Pacific octopus is the largest known, and it doesn't live in the Atlantic. It's possible that exaggerated encounters with these animals, combined with the genuine, terrifying danger of the blue hole's powerful tidal currents that can pull objects down, created the legend of the Lusca. But could a large, undiscovered species of octopus, one that has adapted to hunting in these dark caverns, be the real culprit? For now, the Lusca remains a creature of folklore, a terrifying guardian of the abyss. Number 4. Hadborosaurus moving to the chilly waters of the Pacific Northwest. From Alaska down to California, we encounter a legend as old as the coastline itself. Indigenous First Nations stories have long spoken of a serpentine sea creature, and since the 1930s, Western sailors and locals have given it a name, Hadborosaurus, or Caddy for short. The descriptions have been remarkably consistent for over a century. A long, snake-like body, anywhere from 40 to 70 feet in length, with a head resembling that of a horse or a camel, a distinct neck, and flippers for propulsion. The most compelling piece of evidence for Caddy's existence emerged in 1937. Whalers at Naden Harbor in the Queen Charlotte Islands discovered a strange, 20-foot-long creature inside the stomach of a sperm whale. The foreman, James Wakely, noted it had a horse-like head, a long serpentine body, and a fluked tail. A photograph was taken before the carcass was, unfortunately, discarded. Copies were sent to the Provincial Museum in Victoria, where the curator, Francis Kermode, was unable to identify it as any known species. Scientists have proposed several explanations for Caddy sightings. Most common is the misidentification of known animals. A group of sea lions or seals swimming in a line can create the illusion of a single, undulating serpentine body. Another candidate is the oarfish, a very real deep-sea creature that can grow up to 36 feet long and has a snake-like appearance. As for the 1937 carcass, modern analysis of the photograph suggests it could have been the partially digested and distorted remains of a baleen whale fetus. Yet over 300 sightings have been reported, many by experienced sailors and fishermen who claim what they saw was no seal or known fish. In 2009, fisherman Kelly Nash and his crew even filmed a short video of several large, unidentified creatures swimming in Alaskan waters, which some have claimed is the best evidence of Caddy to date. The verdict: without a body, Caddy remains a cryptid. The evidence is tantalizing and the eyewitness accounts are compelling, but it's not enough to officially add this sea serpent to the zoology books. Number 3. Leviathan. From the world of cryptozoology, we now turn to the world of myth and theology, to a creature so immense and powerful it was said to challenge God himself. Ancient texts describe the Leviathan. The Book of Job in the Hebrew Bible gives the most vivid account, describing a colossal sea dragon with impenetrable scales, monstrous teeth, and the ability to breathe fire and smoke. It says, its back has rows of shields tightly sealed together. When it rises up, the mighty are terrified. Nothing on earth is its equal, a creature without fear. For millennia, the Leviathan was seen as a literal monster of the deep, a symbol of the untamable chaos of the primeval ocean. Scholars and theologians debated its nature, but most believed it was a real, singular creature, the most powerful in all of creation. But could this actually be real? Modern science, of course, does not recognize a fire-breathing sea serpent. Instead, scientists and historians believe the Leviathan was the ancient Israelites' attempt to describe and personify the most awe-inspiring and terrifying creatures they knew of, combined with mythological elements from neighboring cultures, like the Mesopotamian goddess Tiamat. The biological basis for the Leviathan could be a composite of several real animals. The description of its powerful, armored body might have been inspired by the massive Nile crocodiles that were a constant threat in the region. Its immense size and power in the open water could be an embellished account of great whales, whose spouts of water when exhaling could have been poetically interpreted as smoke. The fire breathing is almost certainly metaphorical, a symbol of its immense power and ferocity. In 2010, paleontologists even named an extinct species of prehistoric sperm whale, leviathan-like, in its honor. This massive predator had teeth over a foot long and would have been a true monster of the ancient seas. The verdict on the biblical Leviathan is clear. It is a creature of pure myth. But it's a powerful and enduring myth that represents humanity's ancient and primal fear of the vast, unknown power lurking in the depths. Number 2. The Kraken, beware the Kraken. For centuries, that phrase struck fear into the hearts of sailors on the North Atlantic. Originating in Scandinavian sagas from the 13th century, the Kraken was described not merely as a giant squid, but as a sea monster of apocalyptic proportions. Legends said it was the size of a floating island, 1.5 miles in circumference. Its true danger wasn't just its massive tentacles, which could easily drag the largest sailing ships to the bottom of the ocean, but the colossal whirlpool it created when it submerged, which could doom any vessel that escaped its grasp. For hundreds of years, the Kraken was considered pure fantasy, a fisherman's tall tale. But as sailors began to venture further and science began to explore